Hello, good evening, and welcome to another edition of Synaesthesia with me, Rodney Orpheus, and
And me, Andrew. Hello.
hi everybody.
How's that? That was good.
We are streaming on Twitch as always. We are streaming on YouTube, and we are streaming on Facebook. We have let's see. We haven't been doing the show for a couple of weeks now. Actually, for my reason is because I've got a good excuse for not being here, which was
Sure
I
you
was
do.
actually working on an actual record.
That's not an excuse.
Actually, I was working on 3 records. So I was working on my new album from the Cassandra Complex, which is getting on quite well. And I did a remix for an Austrian band called Whispers in the Shadows. And I did a mastering job for a guy called Rick Cesaia from Colombia, I think. Somewhere down south of where you are, Andrew.
Oh yeah, I see him.
Yeah. So that was my excuse for not doing the show. But we are back, and we have some interesting reviews, I hope, and we have a giveaway. Like we did last episode, we gave away a copy of PSP Audioware's InfiniStrip, which is fabulous.
Yeah, it
And
is.
we have another one to give away this week. So if you want to get a chance to get the PSP InfiniStrip, you need to be on the Twitch channel, and you need to be following the channel, my channel on Twitch. So if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, you can continue to watch, and you're very welcome. We're happy to have you. But if you want to get a chance to win the InfiniStrip, go to the Twitch channel. So that is twitch.tv/Rodney418.
Maybe one day we'll have like our own Twitch channel instead of using yours. One can dream.
I mean, I can change the name if you really want to. But yeah, well, I have enough people
Do you want to have
follow
like a
us and
vanity
subscribe.
channel?
So if you want to win the PSP InfiniStrip or have a chance of winning the PSP InfiniStrip, please go to the Twitch channel and follow the channel, and then you will automatically be entered in the giveaway later. If you're a subscriber, you get an extra chance of winning. So you double your chance of winning if you're a subscriber. So didn't wish you could watch Twitch, not on Twitch. Okay. Well, we're streaming multi-channel, says Luna. Hey, Luna Mitza. Nice to have you with us. What was I going to say? Yeah. So yeah, and if you have Twitch, well, it used to be called Twitch Prime, but they've just changed it. Did you know that, Andrew? It's now called Prime Gaming, which is kind of weird since they've been trying to push Twitch as to a more varied platform rather than just a gaming platform. But in fact, they've changed its name to Prime Gaming. But if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can sign up for a free Prime Gaming account because Prime Gaming is part of Amazon. Oh, thanks for following Smoke Wolf 93. Nice to have you with us. And Smoke Wolf 93, you are now in with a chance of winning the InfiniStrip later. So
prepare yourself.
Yeah. So what's new and exciting? You're playing a gig next weekend, aren't you, Andrew?
I am playing a gig this weekend because it's already next week. Yeah. So there's this great crazy thing we do every month. By we, I mean this weird, crazy thing called the Golden Shrimp Guild, where we do this thing called Synthfest on Twitch. It's almost 72 hours of just synth jam nerddom, going from one channel to another. And it's a lot of fun. It's a good time. And I have no idea what I'm doing yet. And I probably won't until that afternoon. So join in. I'll be playing 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern time.
I love the
well
way,
past your bedtime,
Americans
Rodney.
just have Eastern time. It's like not Eastern American time. It's just Eastern.
Sorry, Eastern American time in the United States. Holy shit, Rodney, chill.
We have Central European time and UK time. You can actually understand what that means, but
no, Central time is like an hour behind me.
Yeah, right. Anyway, so that's so I may well tune in to some of that stuff. I mean, can I feed that into this. I can feed it into this channel as well, can't I? Your stuff.
Yeah, you can host
stuff
it. I mean,
goes
you can host it into the channel if you want to. Yeah.
It'll be on X Studios. Yeah, we are global, Christoph.
Yes.
We've always been.
We are global.
I'm in London. He's in Cleveland, Ohio. So this is pretty global.
The two major metropolitan areas in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, London's still working its way up to Cleveland standards.
Yeah, one of these days.
One of these days. I'm just teasing at the time zone. I know that. Anyway. So
fucking Americans.
So by the way, it is live, it is interactive. So do type into the if you type into the Twitch chat, we can see you. If you type into the Facebook chat or the YouTube chat, we're not monitoring that at the moment. So again, if you want to ask questions, make comments, make stupid jokes, whatever, Twitch is the way to go. It's the most interactive.
We will take all of it. Send dank memes and nudes.
Okay, so let's get to the music technology stories of today. What are the music technology stories today?
Is why we're here.
What's new and exciting?
Well, Rodney, I'm so glad you asked.
Okay, go.
There's not much really going on in the music technology world right now because it's summertime.
Yeah, it's August.
We should
know, in the music technology business, everything shuts in August. So we picked the worst possible time to do a music tech show, but hey.
It's too warm to be nerds. No, not really. It's never too warm to be nerds. I would say that one of the things that we didn't talk about beforehand, but maybe we should, is the cancellation of NAMM.
Oh, yes.
That's a big one.
Yeah, right. So I assume most people know what NAMM is. It's the North American Music Manufacturers Association. And every year in January, everybody who makes musical instruments goes to Anaheim, California, and stays at Disney hotels, and goes to the Anaheim Convention Center, which doubles as Starfleet headquarters in Picard. If you've watched the Picard series, Starfleet headquarters is actually where they hold the NAMM show, which makes perfect sense, really, in a lot of ways. But that's been cancelled this year, which is fine because
not Picard, but the NAMM.
Not Yes, yeah. NAMM. Right. Which is pretty obvious because it's COVID, and let's face it, it ain't going away anytime soon.
Right.
Especially not with the American president we currently have.
It's only
who's doing such a
4 million
fabulous job of opening things up.
What I'm happy to hear though is that they canceled it in that amount of time. It's still a number of months out, and they've already said no, we're not doing it. Well, yeah, we're making it a virtual event, and I think that was rather grown up of them. Well, no, I know a lot of the other festivals were waiting until I know NobCon just 2 weeks ago canceled, and that's supposed to happen next month.
That's bullshit.
So
that's insane.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I mean, NAMM didn't really have much of a choice actually, because the thing about NAMM is that they have it's you know how much it costs to exhibit there?
I'm sure it's ridiculous.
And so people book booths and hotels a year in advance. You know, if you don't book a hotel at least 6 months in advance, you're not going to get a hotel room. You're going to end up staying somewhere that's 20 miles away. So usually by this stage, they would have already sold most of the booth space in the hotels. So they didn't really have a choice because people were going to go, do I need to book for NAMM?
Right. And plus, I'm sure a lot of the European manufacturers were worried about coming in here.
Yeah.
Because
everybody, not just the Europeans.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, folks.
Yeah.
There's a pandemic going on, and we're not doing shit about it.
Yeah, I mean, trust me, nobody outside. I'll give Trump his due. He successfully managed to build that wall. Because nobody wants to come here anymore. Just forget it.
I can't get out.
Yeah, nobody wants you. Yeah, nobody wants to take you either. That's the other problem. He didn't tell you about that part.
I know, right?
Yeah. So no NAMM this year. Which actually probably a lot of manufacturers are breathing a sigh of relief, because it was getting so expensive to exhibit there that people were going like last year, last 2 or 3 years, companies like Propeller Heads didn't exhibit at all. I think Native Instruments didn't exhibit, and quite a few companies were pulling out.
I know a lot of them were doing things like they would have they would have an event outside of NAMM at a
Right.
hotel or something like that,
Yeah,
and they
'cause
would
it's
set
cheaper.
those things up.
But
I also think it's a kind of a good thing because you don't have so much to worry about the NAMM deadline as far as like new music gear and stuff like that is concerned. Because I think that like between that and like Super Booth and some of those other big trade shows, a lot of people were like, racing to get gear ready to show at those big events to get buyers, obviously.
Right.
I think not having those shows kind of gives them a little bit more time to hopefully not do what they've been doing, which is basically turning your customers into beta testers.
yeah, that's going to keep on happening. Don't worry,
No, I
that'll
know.
keep on happening.
Yeah,
I mean,
I know. I could dream.
That's a good point. But the other corollary to that is that 99% of the things shown at NAMM are manufactured in China, and
Right.
Chinese factories have been working a lot less because of lockdown.
Mm-hmm.
And so everything's delayed, and people, yeah. So, that's the way it's going to be. Anyway, they're going to hold some kind of online seminar thing, because NAMM is originally basically for retailers to get training on products. So they're going to try and do online training. How good that's going to be, I'm highly skeptical. But Kaylin says my voice is very soft compared to Andrew's. Well,
I don't know if that's a commentary on the sound quality or just the fact that you're
turn my voice up a little bit. Then is that any better?
Or maybe I'm just a harsh American.
That's also true. Is that any better? Can you hear me better now? Let's
let us know in the comments.
Yeah, well, that's how I found out.
Does Rodney sound beautiful now?
Put in the comments that I was very soft. Maybe even a bit more. Okay, let me. Well, I'm actually running a very different system tonight, which I will tell you guys about later. That should be a bit louder now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's definitely louder in my headphones. Let me know if you needed a bit more than that. And the reason is for that is because I'm actually running my voice through a DAW and then into our broadcast software, because we're going to be talking a little bit about that later on. We're going to be talking about the Presonus Studio One show page. It's a new thing in Studio One 5. And we're going to be talking about the ESI 16.8 XT interface, which I'm actually running through as well. So the show tonight, I'm actually demoing the entire show because I'm running through the stuff we're going to talk about. So
that's how you do things. You just fucking do it, right?
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, seems even nice history stuff. Okay, good. That is good to know. All right. So what else is new in news? Oh, Native Instruments.
Native Instruments. Let's talk about that real quick.
Oh my God. They've had some problems recently.
A little bit. Letting go most of their staff last year. And
well, yeah. I mean, that was one thing. I mean, yeah, because Native Instruments have been, we're a big success story in software and virtual instruments.
Right.
I mean, I think probably the biggest virtual instrument company in the world. They don't make any DAWs or any other software. They just make virtual instruments and some effects, which they give away, which are amazing because they're actually their effects are great.
Right. And some Supercharger
is a brilliant free compressor that they make, and they make hardware as well, which is
depends on the hardware. I know like a lot of people like their keyboard controllers.
Machine is good.
Yeah, Machine's pretty good. I have like one of their DJ controllers, the S4 Mark II, before they could turn to crap with the Mark IIIs, and that's actually really nice. I can beat somebody with it. It has like a Andrew's synthesizer beating ratio of 5, which is pretty good.
Okay.
Basically, if you can murder somebody with the synthesizer, it's more valuable somehow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's not usually the kind of criterion I go with, but hey. But yeah, they had big problems last year. They laid off a ton of their workforce. And then this year, they started, they got BLM'd and Me Too'd for a workplace of harassment, bullying, racism, and all sorts of not very nice things, which they did not deal with very well.
Nope. Didn't they like sweep it onto the table pretty much?
I think they tried to at the beginning, but one of the great things about the BLM movement and the Me Too movement is that they've made it considerably harder for companies to sweep that kind of stuff onto the table, which I'm very happy about.
Yes.
And now I think not uncoincidentally, the CEO and the CTO have both resigned and been replaced by other people. So,
or is they saying they're making way for the new generation?
Yeah, of course, right. And that's a great thing. Well, I know Daniel Haver, who founded and has been running Native Instruments. And Daniel's a cool guy. He's an okay guy. So, and I can believe that. And he's been doing it for 20 years. So fine, I'm sure he's happy enough to step aside and go, surfing or whatever for the rest of his life.
Sure.
So good luck to him. But it is good to see companies getting pulled up on that kind of stuff. It's not good to see companies who have been racist, or you have been sexist, or you have had WordPress cultures that aren't good. But honestly, in the music tech industry, that's half the companies.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is an industry that traditionally has been incredibly white male dominated. Incredibly white male dominated. With the odd token black person, to get the hip hop crew, so they can sell to the hip hop people. And that's,
right.
There's been the smallest amount of token as you can get away with, and then that's been it. But so hopefully that's changing. It is changing.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure. I hope so. Well, it's interesting, like going to trade shows, going to like NobCon, going to like MoogFest and stuff like that, and going and seeing the gear and everything like that, and the people who the companies hire to show off the stuff, and seeing what that looks like. And it is about 85 to 90% white male, and I would say it's 100%, actually about 99% male. Period.
Yeah, well, it has been. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like MoogFest, there were more like, non-male people, whether, non-binary or women or whatever. NobCon was still like mostly dudes.
Sure.
99% dudes, and then 95% white dudes.
So yeah, I think the music tech business is paying some attention, but there are a lot of companies who are still conspicuously silent about diversity. And it's ironic because, music tech these days is financed by black people, black musicians. They're the ones who are buying the gear. They're the ones who are pushing the envelope. Most of the really interesting electronic music's made by a bunch of very diverse people.
So, even like historically speaking, look at like how the freaking 808 and the 909 when it started being used in 303s for electro and everything like that, and because folks were finding them in thrift stores for like $10 and using that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because white dudes didn't want them.
Right, exactly. Or best example I can think of, Wendy Carlos.
Absolutely. I had lunch with
diversity
Wendy
is built
Carlos
into
once.
this whole thing.
I had lunch with Wendy Carlos once. She was lovely.
Nice.
I did. It was by accident. I was doing a show in New York, and this older guy, white dude, came up and started talking about synthesizers, and I was talking about virtual synths, and he said, "Well, I'm a hardware kind of guy." And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, well, And I said, what kind of synths, what kind of hardware do you like? He said, well, actually, I only really use one synth at the moment, and it's a synth that nobody else uses, but it makes the most brilliantly weird sounds. And I said, let me guess, it's an EMU Oddity 2000. And he went, yes, it is. And I went, yes, I have the other one. And so it turned out to be, oh, shit, I forgot his name. Oh, my God. The guy from Bruce Springsteen, synthesizer player, Larry Fast.
Larry Fast,
who plays with Peter Gabriel. And he said, hey, well, why don't you come and have lunch? I'm meeting a friend for lunch. Let's go and have lunch. And I went, sure. So he took me to lunch, and there was this little old lady there. And he said, hey, Rodney, meet Wendy. And I'm like, I think that was like the next 35 minutes was just me sitting there
doing conversation. You shitting yourself.
Yeah. So there you have it. Rock and roll stories. So anyway, let's actually any other interesting news?
Not really. I mean, not industry wide or anything like that. It's been kind of a slow some software updates came out. Like I said, I put up on here the TR8S firmware update. That's kind of nice if you have a TR8S updated, so you can get some FM action.
FM synthesis on a drum machine.
Yeah,
and like, which is whatever. I guess if you want to make bell sounds or something.
Oh yeah, no, there's actually you can do a lot of really kick-ass drum sounds with FM outside of just bell sounds or anything like that. I mean, I use the Digatone mostly for drum sounds, and that's an FM synthesizer. So,
okay.
As well as like the model cycles that is out as well that Electron put out. So that's kind of cool. The Hydrasynth update, I did install that on.
Oh, you have a Hydrasynth?
Hydrasynth. Oh yeah, right there.
Oh well, you've got a demo of that in the future.
Oh yeah, it is an amazing synthesizer. It is for for the price point, and for how it handles wavetables and stuff like that. It is insane. And the new software update, they added 5 more filters to the thing.
Okay.
And
well, I'm all about wavetables.
And sequencing LFOs and all kinds of weird shit. And it's just like, it gets more and more fun the more they update this thing.
Oh, here's another announcement. Behringer, our favorite company. Oh, yeah. They announced they're going to clone the PPG.
Yeah, I saw that. Because they want wavetables now too, but they can't come up with their own stuff.
Well, if you want a clone of a PPG, there's one right there. It's called a Waldorf Blofeld.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got all the PPG wavetables inside it.
Absolutely. And Waldorf put out the PPG as software anyway. So.
Yeah, you can get the PPG in software for peanuts. Now, the only thing is that the original PPG did have analog filters. It was a digital synthesizer with analog filters. So if they clone it that way, then... I mean, have you ever heard the Waldorf Q Plus? It came out for about 10 minutes and then disappeared. It was a virtual analog synthesizer, but they actually... the Q was a virtual analog synthesizer, but the Q Plus... had analog filters in it, real analog filters. Yes. And that had the wavetables as well. So that was exactly like the original PPG. But it came out for about 10 minutes and no one bought it, and then it vanished into the ether.
Yeah, I mean, the Peak is a wavetable synth with the analog filters as well.
But as far as I know, the PPG wavetables are copyright, so I don't think anyone else can use it. But
Behringer will. They don't give a shit.
Christoph says, Rice Filber of Frontline Assembly Delirium is totally in love with this Q+. Yes. Yeah. I can believe it. I mean, when the Q, I tried the Q Plus when it came out because I'm a huge Waldorf fan, and I loved it, but I just couldn't afford. It was like $2,000 at the time, and I couldn't afford it. I didn't have $2,000 to my name. Otherwise, I would have it. It would be sitting there instead of the Blofeld. But hey, I'm happy with the Blofeld, so whatever. Best synth he's ever had, but yeah, it's very expensive.
And I can imagine the problem with like those old synthesizers nowadays also is repair.
Yeah. But Behringer will bring out a PPG. They'll bring it out cheap. Will I buy it? Yeah. No, because we don't buy anything from Behringer. Friends don't let friends buy Behringer because they're cunts. So anyway, moving right along. So let's actually get to some reviews. All right. Andrew, you've been starting to using Studio One.
I've been starting to use Studio One, and I mean. Okay, I like it, but I don't like the fact that it crashes all the fucking time.
That's so weird. I mean, okay, I'll give you that. Version 5, the new version 5 that just came out, it does crash more often than it should. Now, version 4, I used day in, day out for so long. I can't remember it ever crashing. So, but we're at 5.01. So yeah, okay, I get it.
But it shouldn't be crashing when it does crash. Like if I'm trying to I'm finishing up a project, I'm going to export, crash. I need to save this, save, crash.
Okay.
I need to move this into mastering, crash.
It's definitely not.
I need to apply a plugin that they make, crash.
Okay. Well, they did fix some of it in 5.01, but yes, it is crashing too much. Having said that, I am a huge Presonus Studio One fan, as anybody who knows me knows. I've been using it since version 1. And last episode, we talked about the collaboration features they had, which were a great idea, horribly badly executed. Horribly executed. But tonight I want to talk a little bit about the one of the other big new features, which is the show page. Now, I used to work at Presonus a long time ago, and when I first arrived at Presonus, they said, "What would you like to see in Studio One?" This was like at version 1, and the first thing I said was, "I would like you to do something that I worked at Steinberg before, something I wanted to get into Cubase, which was a live page." And I said, "Give me." As a Steinberg said, I want to have a live page where I can just run my Cubase songs live. And back then they were like, "Don't be stupid. Who would ever want to use a computer live?" And I was like, "Me! I use a computer live all the time." And they were like, "Yeah, but no one else is going to do that."
No.
So then I got to Presonus and I said, "Hey, give me a live page." And they said, "That's a great idea." And so 10 years later, we finally get it. And irony upon irony, we get it when no one can play live.
Yeah, right. So like so Apple with Logic, they came out with an application called MainStage,
right,
which does a very similar kind of thing from what I'm seeing as the show page does,
right,
except it's a separate application, which is kind of irritating compared to like how you can just jump between it with that.
Right.
And I remember when MainStage came out, it came with Logic, so I just downloaded it. And I literally was like, I have a show on Saturday. I'm going to do all my thing in MainStage. And
Living
the
on
wonderful
the edge,
thing
baby.
about that, oh yeah. Well, and it was great because I had a sound guy who was literally remote desktoping into my laptop to run sound.
Good God.
So this is before like, that was a thing.
Right.
And so we were like setting up fake wireless networks and shit like that for shows, and we got it to work. But the shittiest part was, of course, trying to do sound with the mouse. But we did it, and literally, I mean, it was that week I figured out MainStage and I got everything set up, and I literally like replaced everyone's synths with MIDI controllers, and it was fine. I have no problems, and so. That's the kind of, that's the wonderful thing about this kind of technology is you can literally sit down with it for like 4 hours, get it all figured out, ready to go. And the fucker came out that week. So show mode, tell us about how your experience with that's been so far.
Well, yeah, 4 hours is interesting because in Studio One, the show page, I opened it up yesterday and to have a look at, thinking we would talk about it next week. And it took me about 4 minutes to figure it out, maybe 10 if you really want to push it. And it's actually really clever because one of the great things that Studio One's had is has a mastering section. So how does that relate to playing live? Well, let me tell you. Because before you could take a multi-track song and you could say, get your mix the way you want it. And you could say, mix this down, but not like exported. You could just say, send it to the mastering section. And it would open up a new page and it would take your multi-track and mix it to a stereo track and drop it in there. And then you could open another song and say, send that to the mastering page. And it would send that and it would build up a track list of your album of stereo files. And then you could master the way you wanted to and shoot it out. So,
and that would get it ready for like CD mastering, so you can do all like the track ordering and do all that shit.
I've mastered tons of records. That's what I use for mastering. I just use that.
Okay.
So what they did was very clearly they just went, wait a minute, stereo files, track listing, So they took that feature, reskinned the user interface, and added a couple of other things, and they made the show page. So that's how it works. So what you do is, you have your multi-track song open, you say, send it to the show, and it shoots it across, and it mixes down a stereo backing track and sends it into the show page. And then you just stack your songs up and do that. And what they added was the ability to play live as well. Put vocals through it, put guitars through it, play virtual instruments, whatever you want. So, and I can show it to you because I'm running it right now. There's the Studio One show page. That's the new show page. So it works like a cellular thing, a little bit like Ableton Live in that sense. So,
right, that's what it looks like, yeah.
You can see here, I've got some backing tracks. Let me just zoom in a little bit there. So these are my songs. And one of the cool things is, like, I've got a voiceover song, which is what my voice is running through now. You can actually see it in the mixer below. And then it actually, when I send the song across, it preserves the BPMs for each song, which I think is really cool. That's great handy for delays and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it makes a stereo backing track. Now the problem is, it'll do you can see I've got this on this song here, Valis. Let me zoom in on that. I've got a stereo backing track. I've got backing vocals, which are actually a vocoder track. And then I've got some guitars. And so I can multi-track the backing tracks. They're stems, basically.
Right.
Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do that. If you just want a stereo backing track, all you got to do is
You broke it. Well, now we know the secrets behind Rodney's line.
As soon as I go there, it turns my voice off. So you'll see in the song page, when you'll turn my voice off, you'll see what I'm doing. So that's all you got to do there. Is just you go to the song, you say send this thing, and it just mixes it down and shoots it in here. But if you want to do multi-tracks, you actually have to export the stems to disk and then drag them in here.
Oh, I see what you're talking about.
Which is okay. It's not hard. It's just slightly irritating. But I talked to Eliana from Presonus, and she said that they're working on fixing that so that you'll be able to just say, take my guitars, bass, drums, and give me stems, and it'll just go boom, 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 and
that's handy.
Right.
So, like, will it do things like you have, like, let's say I'm working on a song and I'm just using a bunch of soft synths.
Right.
And I want to play live. Do I just tell it to send the soft synth channels into the show mode?
Right. No, you can just add players, what they call players. So I've got a backing track player at the top. Then I've got my backing vocals, etc. there.
Right. And
then here I've got a guitar track. And if I click on that, you'll see it on the mixer below. It shows me I've got a guitar amplifier running there. You can
now. Did that come from the original song track?
There you go. So there's the. No, it doesn't. But what I can do in Studio One is that I can save the channel as a patch.
Right.
So these are different patches,
and you can load the patches in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of like with main stage. You save the channel strip, and you can just bring it right into main stage.
Yeah, a patch is basically the channel strip.
Right.
And it just brings it right in. So very easy to do. And then as you change the different songs, it changes the different patches. So for example, if I pick this song, you'll hear the reverb turning on. See, there they go. So I've just got my vocals through that channel. Now it's got a lexicon reverb. 1, 2. And then I go back here, and it's a straight voiceover channel. I'm actually running this through InfiniStrip at the moment. So you're actually hearing, you guys who are watching the show, you're hearing my voice run through. Where's InfiniStrip? Why isn't it coming up now? Come on, you're supposed to.
Because you're doing a show.
Yeah, because I'm doing this. Worked flawlessly earlier, and of course now it's not. Why is that InfiniStrip not coming up? That's so annoying. Yeah. Anyway,
there it is.
But I'm running. Oh, it's there?
Yeah.
I don't see it.
It was.
That's so weird. Anyway. It's so I'm actually running through it because InfiniStrip is zero latency. So my voice at the moment's running through an 80s Neve gain stage and through a Neve EQ and an optical compressor and a limiter and a de-esser, everything in zero latency, which is pretty freaking amazing.
Nice.
And then I've got a PSP Twin L limiter on the output bus as well. So that's just limiting things a little tiny bit. So, and that's also zero, because nearly all the PSP stuff is zero latency. So you can just run it like it's a hardware effect. So it's kind of groovy. So everything, I'm actually running the whole show that we're doing right now through this live page. And the reason I'm doing that is because I'm actually playing a live show in 10 days' time, Stay In Fest, with the Cassandra Complex. So I'm going to run the whole show off this and do the live streaming concert straight through this. And it's pretty amazing. So I've got the vocals through here, and then here I've got a virtual instrument player, and this is just running. I've got Arturia's Analog Lab up at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, you can just run as many virtual instruments as you want and change the patches for each song.
It'd be interesting if you could do things like scene triggers and stuff like that, like you can do with Ableton Live.
Yes.
I'm not sure if that's something that they're looking to do eventually, because I think that's one of the things. Like Logic 10.5, they just opened that up and put like the scene system in there.
Well,
I don't know if that's what they're looking
at. You can define controllers. So if you have hardware controllers, you can define your hardware knobs and faders can be assigned to whatever those things you want.
Sure.
Right.
Oh yeah.
And then,
but like launching scenes and stuff like that, and
this is the performance page. So whatever knobs and faders you've assigned come up there. It shows you what song you're playing, what's the next song, how long it's going to be, what your controller is going to be connected to. I've got mine connected to my Blofeld, and so on. And then you've got a stop and a play button and an all notes off and a mute button. So it works. It's groovy.
I'll be interested.
Escape and it goes back to here.
Yep.
So it's great. It works. It's so simple to use. So simple. So I'm actually really, really impressed by this. I mean, what's great about it is that they took the tech they had and repurposed it. There's nothing really new in it apart from a couple of UI features.
Right.
But I'm happy about that because the learning curve is non-existent. If you already know how to use Studio One, and Studio One is super easy to use, then you can just jump straight in and use it.
Absolutely.
So Presonus, I will definitely give you 10 out of 10 for that. Does it go up to 11? Not yet.
Once I'm able to
the
complete
stems export to it, then I'll give it a full goes to 11. But
once I'm able to complete a song in Studio One and not have it crash and bring it into show mode, then I'm interested to see how it will work, because I got one of these, which we'll talk about next week.
Yes, that is a beautiful thing.
The Atom SQ. And we'll talk more about how this thing works.
Well, it apparently has...
I would like to see how this works in show mode.
Yeah, it apparently has lots of hooks in there for the fader port and for the Atom SQ.
Yes.
So you can easily assign the knobs and faders and stuff like that. So
yes, and I also am a fader port user as well. So this is easier to grab than the 16.
Yeah, so. I am really tempted by that Atom SQ. Really, really tempted. So maybe
there's some more. Like I said, I'm going to play with it more this week so we can talk about it more next week, because I also want to try hooking it up to this little guy, the Synthstrom Deluge, and see if I can control it with that, because the Synthstrom Deluge has built into it a USB host. So I can hook this in and other pieces of gear, and I can see if I can control all that stuff from here, which would be kind of a fun thing.
Try and use it without a computer?
I'm going to try using it with a computer, obviously, in Studio One, as well as outside of it, not in the computer with Synthstrom, because I'm curious, because that would take care of a lot of what I do, because with one of my bands, it's literally, there's no computer. Everything is controlled on the Deluge.
You weirdos.
I know. I love it. You know how sexy it is when you can just set something up in 10 minutes like that.
Computer all the way for me, man. Computer all the way. The hardware is just.
I've done the computer thing for many, many years, and there's something so liberating about not using a computer sometimes.
Well, I'm old enough to be pre-computer, you know.
Yes. You're old enough to be post-computer now too.
No, I'm not that old yet. I started on using the sequencer inside a Sequential Circuits Pro 1. That's how it works. Which is something else we want to talk about next week, because I just got the Yuhi Repro, which reproduces exactly the Pro 1, and I mean it is exact.
Yes,
including Yuhi the sequencer.
Yuhi does such a good job with their sequential recreations.
Yeah. So I think next week we're going to talk about the Repro. I just pulled it up this morning and had a look at it, and I'm already just having joy with that sequencer. It's so simple but so good. Yeah,
their Prophet 5 software plugin was amazing, and I used that until I got my Prophet 6.
Repro is Pro 1 and Prophet 5. So
yeah.
So
I know.
I'll talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's Studio One Live show page. It's great, and I will be using it in a concert next week. So I hope to hell it's not going to crash.
I hope so. I hope to fucking back it does not crash for you, my friend.
But I am enjoying the show page, and it's definitely going to make doing a live stream. I mean, it's perfect for a live streaming concert. The only problem with a live streaming concert is latency and inputs to your input and everything else, which brings me to the next thing I wanted to talk about today.
Do tell, Rodney.
On the first show, we showed the ESI M8UEX MIDI interface.
That flows off the tongue so nicely.
I know. Which is a brilliant, and I mean, in my opinion, the best MIDI interface around at any price.
Fantastic interface, unfortunate name.
Yeah, a very unfortunate name, but a beautiful looking and beautiful. And that thing has been in my rack since the day we did the show. It never went back.
Yes.
So it was so good, I decided to get an ESI 168 XT audio interface and try
168 XT. Is it called a 16? Is it a 168? Is it a 168? Or is it 168
I think it's
XT?
168 because it has 16 ins and 8 outs.
Right.
Which is pretty freaking amazing.
Yes.
For a USB
yes,
interface.
About fucking time.
And I was going to like pick it up and show it to you, and then I thought, screw it, I'm going to run the show through it. So let's have I'm going to pick up my camera, and you can actually
let's go into vomit mode.
Because, we're going into Battlestar Galactica handheld
shaky cam.
This is the ESI 16NX. You can see that's the M8 in the rack, the MIDI interface, which is utterly fantastic. So this is the ESI 168 XT. Now that's not in the rack because it's a 19-inch rack unit, but it's not in my rack because ESI have these beautiful curved end cheeks. Look at that. Look at this gorgeous brushed copper and these curved end cheeks.
Brushed copper cheek.
Very sultry and seductive, and but the problem is because it's curved, it's 19-inch to here, and the curve is an extra 19 1/4, so it does not fit in a 19-inch rack. Da, 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 da. Now I could probably get it in the back of the rack and put it on a shelf. It'll fit. But you can't rack mount it. You definitely can't get it in the front of my rack. It won't. I tried. Believe me, I tried.
Tried so many times to get in the front of your rack as well. Never
Anyway, so let's have a look at the front of it. The front of it is awesome. You have 4 XLR mic inputs, and the first 2 are combi jacks. So they take instrument or XLR. So
right. God, I wish everyone would just use combi jacks from now on.
And then here, these are just standard XLRs. So that's the microphone I'm using at the moment.
Right.
And you can see the lights flashing. 48 volt. And then here, there's a little hardware mixer, and 2 headphone outs, which is fantastic.
Isn't that lovely?
I mean, 2 headphone outs. That's one of the things that really attracted me to this was the fact it's got 2 headphones. Because quite a lot of the time, I've got myself and a guitar player in, or I'm singing and there's somebody else playing, so we just put 2 headphones. It's great. And that's a little hardware mixer that mixes the inputs and the backing tracks together, and it's not fabulous, but it works. So it's great. And the little green light above that shows which of these front panels are on. So if I switch on channel 4, you'll see that goes on there. Switch on channel 1.
Bing.
So it tells me which of my front panel channels are switched on, because on the back we have 16 line inputs on the back.
Look at all those line inputs.
Those line ins. And if you use the front 4, it takes away channels 1 to 4 of the line, so you 16 maximum. And all those jacks, that's my synthesizers plugged into it.
Right.
Because I was using a submixer before, so that's now gone. I don't need
You got like 4 synthesizers?
I don't use very many hardware synths. I got a Blofeld. I have...
How cute.
I have my delicious little V-Blit Triode, which I love. And I've got the famous Oddity 2000, in fact, that I mentioned earlier, which I still love. And there's a Deep Bass 9 in there. There's a Plug-Eater. I have the weirdest collection of hardware synths, but I freaking love them. So then what else have we got? We got 8 outputs. 8 line outs, and a stereo mix out, which is what works with the hardware mixer on the front. So you've got a mix out and 8 individual outs, Kensington lock, SPDIF in and out, which is something you do not see very often these days, but can be useful, and MIDI in and out, and 12 volt.
Does it have ADAT?
So yeah, it's a pretty happening box.
Yeah. Does it have an ADAT out on it?
It does not have ADAT in and out, no. But you've got 16 analog ins and 8 analog outs, so screw it. I can live without ADAT.
Well,
if you want more, then you need something else. And is it good? Yeah, it's great. Freaking awesome. It works really well. And what's cool about it is really low latency. Stupendously low latency for a USB interface.
Nice. Is it USB 2 or USB-C?
It's USB 2. We talked about this, I think, when we first talked about the M8U. A lot of people have the wrong idea about USB, because the USB, they have high-speed USB and super-speed USB. All USB runs at the same speed.
Right.
There's no such thing. Even though they call high-speed or super-speed, it doesn't. The data doesn't move faster down the line. It just has more bandwidth. So that means that it really doesn't matter whether it's USB 2 or USB 3. There's enough bandwidth to carry 16 channels of audio. So it's the same. It'll make no difference. So it's USB 2. And yeah, it works. It's great. Latency, now I'm using Windows, and especially if you use Windows, they have enhanced Windows drivers of their own that seem to be really good, because latency is usually a serious issue on Windows. And so I can operate this thing very successfully at 128 samples without a problem. Now, at the moment, I'm running it, let me just show you, actually. I'm running it into Studio One, through Studio One as we speak. See if I can show it. And I don't know if you can see. Oh, you can't see because it's coming up in a different window. Well, right now it's input latency 5.8 milliseconds, output latency 5.8 milliseconds. So it's 12 milliseconds altogether. I can actually run it much lower than that, but not when I'm running video, because I'm running the video at the same time. So this is doing this. One little Dell XPS is running the DAW with multiple channels, all the inputs and outputs, and the video compression and and the Skype that's taking Andrew's thing and everything else. So I put it at 256, 12 milliseconds, and it handles all that without a problem. If I'm not doing video, I can get down to at least half that.
Nice.
So for a USB interface, that's pretty freaking amazing. I mean, if you want low latency, RME are still the kings, or the Presonus Quantum, but that's a whole different price point.
That's a different price point. Yeah. What's the price point on these?
Let me check, actually. Let me check what the price point is. I'll check the European price.
There you go.
I think you'd be pleasantly surprised, because the M8U was really cheap for what it does.
Right.
And the 16, let's see what the 16.8 XT is less than £400.
Really?
Yes, less than £400. 16 in, 16 out, 24-bit 96. Really low latency, and it looks gorgeous. It's super freaking cheap.
Yeah, I'm almost clutching my pearls here.
I know. I'm
holy shit,
stunned at how cheap it is, because any other competitor, you're paying at least double that.
Right. For that many inputs, which is fantastic, because Daddy needs more inputs. That's for sure. Because I'm way the fuck out.
Yeah. So in the US, that's got to be what, 450, less than $500, maybe.
Yeah, less than $500. I can buy 2 of them.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you can't stack them up as well, as far as I know.
Yeah. Well, I can't put them in a rack, but I can stack them up still.
you can shelve them in a very wide rack. But,
yeah, totally.
But yeah, I freaking love the thing. And the other great thing, if you're running Windows, is one of the problems with Windows is wiring shit together. So
Mm-hmm.
when I was trying to wire Studio One into OBS to broadcast before, I had to install all this extra software and jump through
Voice meter
ridiculous
and all that
amounts
other
of
stuff.
hoops. But with this thing, the control software has a thing called direct wire, and you just go, oh, I want to wire my output of Studio One into my input of OBS. Okay, boom, boom, done. And that's it. And it just works. It took me...
Das Christoph found it at B&H in New York City for $399.95 US.
Holy shit. $400.
Yeah. $400. Oh, wait, that's the U86. He was wrong. Christoph, you failed me.
That's the U86. That's
okay,
the 8 and the 6. Yeah. Come on. We're talking 16.8 here. We're talking about the XT version.
XT.
That was $400. This is really cheap. But
$500 U68.
$500, 16.8. Yeah. That's pretty that's a great deal. And it's perfect for this live stream stuff. That's what I love. I mean, that's why I thought I'd do the show tonight and actually show you it all working, because that's my system now. That's the system.
That's great.
Like I say, I'm running 256 at the moment. I could probably run it at 128 and have effectively no real noticeable latency at all. But I just didn't want to risk it. We'll see. But yeah, ESI, absolutely. These go to 11. No question. ESI, I have to be... wow. I mean, I slept on these guys for a while, and I have to say they are kicking ass. That MIDI interface is amazing, and the audio interface is amazing, and the price is stupid.
That's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah. So, yeah, very good. An amazing deal for that many inputs. Now, yeah, you're right, Christoph. It's a hell of a deal. So yeah, this is my system now. It's not going back. These were both review units, but ESI will never see them again. Because that's the system now. And I've got a lot of interfaces here. I've got back in that rack there is full of old interfaces. And, I've got everything, everybody, eye connectivity, Presonus, Focusrite, Roland, they're all there. And when you test the latency with most of those interfaces, they're pretty much of a muchness, At the top end, you get RME.
Right.
They always win because they have their ASIO drivers in hardware.
Right.
They have a really special system. And then the Presonus Quantum, which is Thunderbolt, is right up there as well. And then you've got a huge gap. And then you've got all the other manufacturers are pretty much of a muchness. They're a little bit more, a little bit less. But ESI are definitely well ahead of that pack. They're in that middle space. They're not your RMAs, but they're a third of the price of an RMA. So,
right, and they do the job really in the end.
I mean, doing this job,
that's the
and
thing,
it sounds
right?
great.
Yeah,
I mean, it actually sounds really good too. So, yeah, ESI, you win again. All right, so we need to do a giveaway, don't we?
Yeah, it's almost we've almost been on for an hour and we've not given anything away.
Jesus Christ!
I'm amazed that people are still watching us. We haven't given them anything.
They've just been waiting for the giveaway. Let's start.
I know, right? So if you are, make sure that you are at least following us in order to be able to win something. And if you want to have an extra chance, subscribe to us.
Yeah. So it's the Infinity Strip raffle has started for viewers. Use !raffle to enter the raffle.
Bang raffle!
!raffle.
And you have to be over on Twitch. So YouTube and Facebook people, you have to come over to Twitch.
Facebook, come to Twitch.
Follow Rodney's ass and
twitch.tv/Rodney418.
Raffle.
Michael Schmand, you received 1 ticket.
Congratulations.
All right, Michael. So far, you've got a 100% chance of winning a PSP Infinity Strip.
Look at you go.
I
feel like we should be like auctioneers or something like that. Oh, Das Christoph received 1 ticket. Can I get 3 tickets? Can I get 3 tickets? Can I get 3 tickets? Information tray. You need this. You need this software.
Yeah, I mean the Infinity Strip is amazing. Since I got it, it goes on every track every time.
fucking killer.
Oh, there it is. I've got it on the screen.
There you go. Infiltrate.
So I'm a big PSP fan. PSP, there's a weird Polish company. They're like 3 guys in Poland or whatever. But this thing sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's like so good.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, no, go ahead.
It's got like a whole set of different modules, and each module has got a whole set of different things. So you've got a preamp, which can either be 60s, which is kind of an Abbey Road preamp, or a 70s, which is kind of like a classic Neve, or an 80s, which is a lot cleaner and clearer, or a 90s, which even has a 12-bit converter built in.
Yes.
The drive function is really killer in it. I mean, the preamp is great. Then you've got some filters, which you can have different, and you can have sidechain filters if you want to. And then you've got gates and expanders and duckers. You've got 3 different kinds of EQ. Channel EQ, which is really clean and very surgical. You got a more of a Neve style analog EQ, and then you've got this old school 60s EQ, if you like, which is good if that's what you like. Then for the compressors, you've got an optical, a FET, and a VCA. The FET compressor particularly is really, really particularly good. It's very transparent. And then you've got a couple of different limiters, and you've got a de-esser, and you can insert lots of other things as well. De-essers, dehummers, everything. Fucking beautiful, beautiful plug-in. And it normally costs $199. So
yeah, that's I said. It retails for $200, and it's all utility stuff, but it's utility stuff that anybody needs if they're doing, whether it's music or voiceover work or whatever.
Yeah,
it's incredibly handy. They're just great devices. I love it.
Yeah,
I love that thing.
And zero latency, which you can hear because my voice is going through it right now.
Kicks ass.
It is. Yeah, I've been mixing or working on our new Cassandra Complex album. This is on every freaking channel. It's so good. I just don't use any other compressors or EQs anymore. So yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I'm pretty happy about that.
And I've used their compressor before. I used their the old timer.
Old timer, excellent compressor.
Which was fantastic. I used it all over Plasma Blackout. I ended up like replacing every compressor that I was using on that with theirs, and it just killed it. Yep. So this thing is even better because it gives you so much more than just an old timer.
Yeah. Very true.
All right, so we have Devi777 got a ticket. Information Trays got a ticket. Das Christoph got a ticket, and Michael Schmand got a ticket. Anybody else, if you are following or if you are subscribed, it's the ! Raffle, and sign up. We're going to be closing the raffle here very shortly to get a copy of this fine software, which we are not even sponsored by. We're just talking about this thing because we think it's really, really fucking cool.
All right, we're going to close this in a couple of minutes. What else do we want to talk about? Anything else new and exciting?
What else we got going on? Do you have a free plugin of the week you wanted to discuss, huh?
Let's talk about that next week. I think we've had enough.
Okay.
Your show, in case anybody missed the beginning of our show.
Yes.
Andrew is
7 to 9 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. There you go, Rodney. Does that make you happy? That's ever on my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/IX Studios Cleveland. That's going on. The Synth Fest, which is going on all weekend long. I'll be hosting a lot of the channels on there. But it's literally almost 72 hours of just synth nerds streaming crazy music of all different styles and genres. And you can come and hang out over with me on my stream. You can get information on how you too can start joining us for synth weekends, which we do every month. But it's a lot of fun. Highly recommend.
I should do something there sometime.
You should. It's like I said, it's fun. It's just a weird thing to do.
Do some like ambient thing between the two of us, a transatlantic ambient thing.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about latency because, I mean, literally, I'll just put a microphone next to my dishwasher for 2 hours, and it's an ambient album, right? Smoke Wolf
is entered. All right. So there's only another.
Das Christoph is actually. I'm going to go ahead and throw a shout out for Das Christoph as well, who DJs 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern U.S. time on his channel. He does a stompy ass industrial called Spite Club. And he's a killer DJ. Yes, he's a killer DJ. Great guy. Come and hang out with Christoph on Thursday nights.
Okay. Oh, maybe if he's really nice, he can get some early previews of the new Cassandra Complex album to play.
Yeah, there you go. So butter up Rodney and prepare your mouth.
Yeah. So what else was I going to say? Yeah, and then that's this weekend is the Synthfest. A weekend after that is Stay In Fest. So every year in the UK, there's like a huge goth industrial electronic music festival called Infest. Infest. Fest. Get it? Yeah. I'm sure it was funny at the time.
Yeah.
And of course, and I was going to play with the Cassandra Complex this year, which was going to be our first show in the UK for, I don't know, 10 years or something, because we never play live in the UK. But we were really going to play Infest, and that didn't happen because of everything else. So now they're doing a 12-hour online festival called Stay In Fest. Yeah. Stay In Fest.
Get it?
Get it? Yeah. Which I think is actually kind of cool. I mean, I love that name. It's fun. So anyway, so they've already announced a few acts. Mr. Kitty is going to be doing a live stream, which should be really cool because Mr. Kitty is pretty freaking cool. And there's a few other bands playing and DJs that I don't know that well. And I don't think they've announced the Cassandra Complex yet. So I can't say that the Cassandra Complex are playing, but we were supposed to play when it was a real festival, and I am preparing a whole load of songs for next week. So
hint.
So figure that out.
So I hope that if Stay In Fest is watching.
Sorry, what's that?
So if Stay In Fest organizers are watching, you should probably book them.
Yeah, you probably should, because I'm going to have a set ready. Okay, so what was I going to say? Yeah, so and also I will be doing new songs, lots of new songs, many. Nice. If it was up to me, I'd just do new songs, but I'll probably have to play a couple of older things. So actually, what you saw earlier on Studio One, that's actually part of the set that I'm preparing in Studio One right now. So, okay. Oh, CJ Goff has received 1 ticket. All right. So it's turning into a competition.
Getting sweaty thinking about the excitement.
All right. And we're going to close this off now. So if you want to enter, you better do it now, because I am about to close it.
His fingers are hovering over the button.
Timer says 49 minutes, 49 seconds, 48 seconds.
49 seconds.
So I'd love to...
CJ Goff says they can have a word with Lee tomorrow regarding Stay In Fest.
Yeah, don't worry, CJ. I know Lee very well. And words have been had on many occasions. Actually, Lee and I used to work together. I'm
totally going to start booking shows the way you do. I'm like, well, I've got everything put together, so you might as well just have me play.
Well, it's something like that. The Lee mentioned there is Lee Chaos, who also DJs on Twitch. Does an amazing thing called Doof. He actually did a 24-hour DJ set last week, was it, I think, or something? Him and one other person, I think, DJ'd for 24 hours without stopping, which is insane, but that's the kind of wonderful person Lee is. So
wow, the raffle has ended.
The raffle has ended. All right, let's pick a winner.
Prepare the supercomputer.
Pick winner. Here we go. Das Christoph. Is your winner.
Congratulations. Enjoy the Infinistrip.
Contact us later, and we will send you a code for that from PSP. Courtesy of PSP AudioWare. All you got to do is go to the PSP Audio website and make an account, enter that code, and you have Infinistrip, which is Doofcast. Yeah. Oh, that was 3 weeks back. Oh yeah. Wow. Doofcast on Thursdays, which is annoying because I usually I'm webcasting virtual tabletop on Thursdays, but 3 weeks back. Was it 3 weeks already? I mean, this lockdown,
Time has no meaning in COVID land.
3 weeks. It could have been 3 weeks, 3 hours, or 3 months ago by now. I have no clue anymore.
Now, Rodney, real quick, you can use PSPware in OBS, yeah?
Yes, yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So Dusk Free stuff, you can use it with your stream as well for your microphone.
Yeah, they're plugins. If you download the VST2 versions, the VST2 plugins run inside OBS. I'm using Streamlabs OBS, and they run fine in that. Though I think
they run fine in OBS as well.
There is a slight bug in the current versions where the meters aren't working correctly, which I've been kicking PSP's ass to fix. Because the previous version worked fine, but the new version, the meters are wonky. But they sound perfect, so they're working. So yeah. So you can run that inside OBS, and you'll love it. There's no finer EQ, compression, sound sweetening tool available, in my opinion. All right. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us.
Tune in next week.
Next week we'll be talking about
the Presonus Atom SQ. We're going to be talking about the Yuhi Repro. We're going to be talking about the Nectar controller.
Maybe.
If
I get my Nectar
and we're going to be talking about my Earthquaker Afterneath module.
Okay.
And the insanity that it makes.
We like that.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. And we'll catch you later.
See you soon.
Follow the stream. There'll be... I don't think we're running Virtual Tabletop on Thursday. Virtual Tabletop is on summer holiday at the moment while I prepare shows. But that'll be back next month. And then I've got another show story next month as well, hopefully. We will see. But we should be back with Synaesthesia next week anyway. So thank you very much, and bye-bye now.
Bye now.